So the first Super 8 game of the T20 World Cup, and indeed the first Super 8 game that is set to be held or was set to be held in Sri Lanka between New Zealand and Pakistan, has officially been washed out. Obviously, a very damp squib of a start to what is the important part of the tournament, where the best 8 teams out of the 24 are remaining. But there always is a threat of rain that lingers over Sri Lanka when it comes to not just multi-nation tournaments, but at times even bilateral cricket. Such is the placement, geographically speaking, of the nation, that it's something that can't often be avoided. But what about the rain threats on the rest of the days that matches are happening? That's what we're going to be looking at in this particular video. But before we go over the weather predictions for each of those days, it's important to take a look at what days or what dates are seeing matches take place in Sri Lanka. So we'll start off, obviously, 21st Feb, you had Pakistan versus New Zealand. That has been washed out. Aside from that, you've got Sri Lanka versus England on Sunday, 22nd February. It's the only day game on the list. Then you've got England versus Pakistan, Sri Lanka versus New Zealand, England versus New Zealand, and of course, to end things, Pakistan versus Sri Lanka. These are the 6 games that are taking place, out of which 1 is done. So you've got 5 games to look at when you're talking about looking at the weather predictions. Now, individually, let's take a look at how it is that each of these groups or each of these games or days are going to be affected by the weather. And I'll just give you a little bit of a spoiler before I begin. The forecast is by no stretch of the imagination looking promising for any of the days. In fact, that is the big worry that a lot of people are having, is that this could very well be a group that is determined almost entirely by rain. So let's start off by looking at how the weather is going. Sunday, February 22nd, this is the forecast. You've got a thick cloud cover with periods of rain in the afternoon. Whilst this might not seem like that much of a big deal, it is worth noting that the game on February 22nd is in fact a game that is taking place in the afternoon. So afternoon rains are by no stretch of the imagination a good sign. And it doesn't get much better going forward. February 24th, the conditions are sunny but partly cloudy. The partly cloudy can change over days. It can either go away and there'll be no clouds, or it can become cloudier, which means another day which could potentially be impacted by rain. February 25th, it's mostly sunny, which is great news. It's the one day where you have very clear forecasts and even the chances of rain are minimal on that given day. Thereafter, you've got February 27th. Partly sunny with a passing shower or 2, and the rain percentage is high. So that day too will see chances of rain take place. And February 28th, which is the last day when you will be having games in Sri Lanka, the weather forecast says there'll be some sunshine which will be giving way to clouds with a little rain in the afternoon. Of course, as I said, all of these weather predictions should be taken with a grain of salt, because the conditions can and will often change with the passage of time. If time passes, the weather prediction can change given what it is that is picked up by the radars. But what we've seen so far is by no means good news, because there's only one day out of the remaining 5 where there is no rain predicted. That means 4 out of 5 matches could be at best truncated or could be at worst hit by rain, which will no doubt prompt a lot of questions over how ideal it was to select Sri Lanka. I don't think they're wise questions, but you guys can let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with that assessment, or if you are looking forward to the World Cup now that you know there is so much rain set to hit the next round. Let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget, as always, to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such updates from the world of sport.